Good afternoon and welcome to a little bit of a drive. Yeah, I know I'm going around the car park the wrong way, but never mind. It's now Friday. It's time for the weekend. So I'll make foils here. Seatbelt on. Do anything like that. And as you can see, it's raining. Which ain't exactly brilliant, but never mind. Yep. But tomorrow, Saturday, I will be at Silverstone. Not for any racing or anything like that. There's a technology show there, which means by the time you're watching this, I may actually already be at the show. It's called Fully Charged. A bit ironic really, considering I work for a supplier of components and parts to the electrician's trade. Consumer units, plug sockets, cable, circuit breakers, that kind of stuff. For a major UK supplier. Well, the thing is, Fully Charged is electric vehicles and technology. I've never been before. It's hosted by Robert Llewellyn, who, if ever any of you guys have ever seen Red Dwarf on BBC TV or one of his satellite spin-offs or one of the syndicated networks in America, because I think it was sold over in the States as well, Robert Llewellyn played Crichton, the android. It's quite a hilarious character. He also did Scrap Heap Challenge as well, where basically you get given a challenge and out of scrap you have to create a vehicle to perform that challenge, which was actually quite hilarious. Now, initially I wasn't going to be able to go because I wasn't drawn. Yes, I won the ticket. I entered the competition on the Hatch and Gear show on Forces Radio BFBS, which is a radio station I listen to when I'm at work and when I'm driving around and not making videos. I play music. I've had to turn it down so that I don't get any copyright infringements on my channel. I know. However, the other person won the tickets, but unfortunately was unable to go, so I was given, is it what you would call first refusal? And thank you to producer Nikki for letting me know about this and giving me the opportunity to accept the tickets. It's great. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's on today, it's on tomorrow, and it's on Sunday as well. It's on 3 days. If you get there to the car park, and there's electric vehicle shuttles, which are probably Tesla taxis or Ionic taxis. And I've always had, I mean, I know I drive a Vauxhall Vectra, but I've always had an interest in vehicles. you know, and trucks and the like. As a kid, I would have posters of Barry Sheen and the like, and what have you, on motorcycles on my wall, where some people bought movie stars. No, I used to have a big poster of Barry Sheen. And later on, with other people put posters of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. No, I had a photograph of a DAF 95. And for those of you who don't know what a DAF 95 is, it's a tractor unit for an 18-wheeler. Yes, I know. Then along comes some guy called Elon Musk, he's a guy who founded PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla. Named after Nikola Tesla, I believe. I'll be wrong. And he's basically, with his vision, brought electric cars into the modern age, where previously electric cars, you think electric car, you think milk float, doing the milk round in the morning. Two big batteries about the size of a coffee on each side, one on each side of the vehicle, weighing about 2 tons each. And that was it. That was good for 40 miles at 10 mile an hour. You don't have to do your milk round, that's about it. Now you can get a car, or even an SUV for that matter. You can do 0 to 60 in a time that would probably shame some high-end sports cars, like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or what have you. The exact figures I'm not entirely sure, but for a car, with a Model X, for a car that weighs nearly 2 tons, to have a trailer on the back with an Alfa Romeo sports car and still beat the Alfa Romeo sports car on a quarter-mile drag strip whilst towing an Alfa Romeo, and be good for what, 300 miles on a charge if you drive it careful. That's how far we've come in my lifetime. I'm only 43 this year. What's next? What's next? Alternative fuels, yeah, okay, fair enough. Hydrogen, ethanol, methanol. That might work for some vehicles, like big rigs. But it's not the be all and end all. And this country, England, not Scotland, not Wales, but England, needs to get its act together, because when I was in Scotland, in Lerwick, and on the Orkney Islands as well, I noticed more Chalamo type chargers, ecotricity chargers. I'm not quite sure what brand he owns. I don't actually need to know, because I drive a fossil car. Sorry guys, I drive a fossil. My car runs on dinosaur pee. And it's 20 years old. But I noticed more ecotricity points in a town of 5,000 people, Lerwick, on Shetland, than there are in Stoke-on-Trent, a town of several 100,000 people. And if the government wants to cut down our CO2 emissions electric cars, electric motorcycles need to have charging points. Because without them, people ain't going to buy them. Where are they going to charge up? And you need to charge, obviously you need to charge your car. There's loads of petrol and diesel filling points all over the place. The infrastructure's there. You want to buy an electric a filling station, you just put up a kiosk, put a couple of tanks in the ground, put your pumps on, put your canopy up, you're done. Why is it not that simple with electric vehicles? Why is it not that simple? Fact is, this government doesn't seem to want to give the incentives out, it seems. Whereas the Scottish government, and all credit to them, they're ahead of us. Thank you, Nicola Sturgeon. Thank you, Alex Salmond. Thank you, Scotland, for being ahead of the game. You know, people put more charging points. People will go electric. For me, I'll probably have to buy a second-hand car, which means the battery will probably be kippered. Well, I wouldn't say no to a Tesla. I wouldn't say no to an Ioniq. And that's where I will be, enjoying the opportunity to explore and have a look at electric technologies. Where do we go from here? Electric sports cars. And what a big problem, I mean, a diesel truck will always need, especially in Europe, with their frames being so small compared to American law. We haven't got space to put the batteries. We haven't got the infrastructure with all the overhead lineage. Well, it's been trialled in Germany, the electric highway. You drive along, put two pantographs up, and you stay under the wires. And you take your power for the truck off the national grid. First crash in this country will get bricked down. And this government probably is that backward, that anti-truck, it'll never get built. So with road haulage, I think the way forward will probably be hydrogen fuel cells, or maybe actually burning the hydrogen as a fuel in a 6-cylinder engine, just like how it's done now with a diesel or another vehicle with gas fuel. Great idea. What an absolutely fantastic idea. Either or we'll adopt biofuel, grain ethanol, methanol fuel, or something like that. But one thing that hasn't been regulated up to now, and I don't think it is at the moment, are the engines on the front of refrigerated trucks, which drive a generator which provides power on board to drive an electric refrigeration system to keep your produce cool, whether it's ice cream, whether it's beef, frozen veg, or whatever. Now, back in the 1990s, there was a trial done by Sainsbury's, I think it was, 13.6 metre trailer with the roof was just covered in solar panels. And it worked. It was a little heavy, but it worked. I think that could well be a way forwards for refrigerated vehicles. Anyway, that's it for now. That's it for this part. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back. Just wanted to do a quick visit to somebody, but I didn't want to let you know where they were, because I haven't consented to be on YouTube. Yeah, as I was saying, refrigerated trailers with solar panels on, even in this country, they would work. Yeah, with better insulation as well, smaller, probably refrigerated ports on the roof inside the trailer, rather than have one gaping great big thing at the front trying to push refrigerated air from one end of the trailer to the other. Because your problem is going to be the back of the trailer. You have doors there, doors which probably don't always seal quite as you like. It allows warm air to get in or cold air to get out, or quite simply they might not be as well insulated as the rest of the body, allowing your lovely cold air to get out, which would mean by having 3 smaller units in the roof, the 2 at the front of the trailer probably wouldn't be running quite so often, but the one at the back would, which means you can keep the trailer cool by providing a cold air barrier. Or at least that's the theory. I'd be wrong, but I'll find out. So as it cools down the back of the trailer, the cold air at the front of the trailer won't be able to mix and get out the back of the trailer. So the 2 units at the front, one in the middle and one at the front, will fire in as they need to, and won't be as often as one at the back. Blowing cold air downwards onto your produce. Cold air falls, or hot air rises, either way. You know, cold air is always at the bottom, hot air is always at the top. You remember physics from high school? And that's, you know, one way to consider it. Use less power to keep the produce cool, and it still results in a similar overall effectiveness of the system. I'm not expecting anybody to be there from the likes of Carrier or Thermo King. It's probably, I don't think it will be their pedestal. However, I shall have a look once I'm there. As I sit right here now, I'm driving to Longton. This is where I live. Well, the nearest town to where I live. Unless you've got to go around the one-way system. And one thing that electric vehicles are supposed to be doing is bringing in cleaner air. Because vehicles like my Vectra, that Fiesta in front, that Mercedes minicab over there, yeah, it's not a taxi, it's a private hire vehicle, technically a minicab. Yeah. What we do now, we sat in traffic, and it's conditions like this which cause a lot of the air pollution problems. But the way modern life is set up, a lot of people don't live where they work. They don't live within an easy walking distance. They have to commute by car. And that's what causes the problem. Bus companies as well have cut back quieter and quieter routes, which has a knock-on effect of those people who live in the areas where they used to have 4 buses a day only have 1 or 2 now, have to buy a car. And lo and behold, the pollution moves. Because these people who live in these villages are now having to use a car to get to work. Oh well. And if you have a look around at that building, how black it is, that is years and years of soot from heavy industry, particulates from petrol and diesel engines, particularly older unregulated diesel engines, pre-Euro, Euro 0, I think what it was called. Euro 1 was was a step in the right direction. Then came Euro 2, then came Euro 3, Euro 4. Then AdBlue started to appear on Euro 5. And now we've got Euro 6. And it's not finished yet, there is Euro 7 and Euro 8 expected. All the two-stroke engines as well. You don't see two strokes now for the same reason. Well, it's all right mandating the removal of older, more polluting engines, or taxing them out of existence, so you're forced to get rid of it, replace it with a newer vehicle. If you want to go electric, it's gone full circle again. If you want to go electric, you'll need places dotted around. Like on this car park on my right, for example. I don't actually think they've charging points up there. That car park there, over to my left, by Donna Louise, which used to be a little, which is now moved. A bigger location. If you want to go electric, you need to get charging points in places like this. So you get to the shops, you plug in, you charge up whilst you do your shopping. You get back, you unplug, you drive off. That next person pulls in, plugs in. Well, if you're going to do that with a significant amount of vehicle charging equipment, well, these things don't take a small amount of current, they take a massive amount of current. When you're trying to charge a battery that'll drive you for 300 miles, when you're trying to charge that up in about 10, maybe 15, 20 minutes, that's a lot. That's a lot of current to put out, which means you'll need more solar panels, more power stations, maybe wind, maybe hydro, gas. Well, we're trying to move away from fossil fuels, so that time is numbered. And this is a scary one. Nuclear. Yeah, I said the N-word. Nuclear. And if any of you are scared of nuclear because of Fukushima and Chernobyl's, that's particularly Chernobyl, because Chernobyl was man-made. Fukushima was an act of nature. They built various safety systems in to try and mitigate any tsunami damage, and to a point it worked. But the Great Sendai earthquake, a few years ago, that knocked the plant offline. The seawall that protected Fukushima Daiichi power station had been built 1 meter higher than all previous tsunamis. so it should have held. What happened was the land dropped. Therefore your tsunami comes straight over the top. Floods the diesel generators, which tripped in the moment the earthquake was felt. So the plant went into emergency shutdown, as far as I'm aware. You probably need to look it up, I might be wrong. The plant went into emergency shutdown, the diesels fired in. The diesels get swamped. Diesel engines have a very difficult time running, trying to burn diesel and water. They're great at burning diesel and air, but not very well with diesel and water. I wonder why. Which means the batteries kick in. And you got twice as much power, battery-wise, to keep the pumps running, to keep everything cooled. The most American or even European power stations, but eventually the power stations ran out of power. The batteries gave out, which means then you've got a problem. Chernobyl, on the other hand, was utterly preventable and avoidable in every way, shape or form. It was a test that was meant to see how long it would take for the diesel generators to kick in, take over the running of the pumps before the turbines, which had pumps on the end of them, or power to a pumping system, stalled out. The only thing is, it was required to have done it at a given power setting, so the reactor boiled enough steam to do so. It stalled, and then there was no circulation of cooling water within the reactor. It then bubbled, and if you know what happens if you carry on with the kettle and you don't switch the kettle off, or you may have seen that one on Mythbusters where they block up a vent for a water heater and just turn the water on, and it can't get rid of the heat. The water cylinder exploded. That's what in layman's terms. It's a little bit more technical than that. That's basically what happened at Chernobyl. The reactor boiled dry, and steam that was inside the reactor had to get out. It blew the lid off the reactor, which went through the roof of the building, flipped over and crashed back down onto the reactor vessel, smashing it, allowing the molten fuel to leak out the bottom. Utterly preventable. And because of that, people have had a fear of nuclear power. Nuclear power is not all what it's frightened to be. I've been to Haitian power station. I have stood 50 feet, I reckon it was, above the charging face of a reactor. I am perfectly fine. That power station was built in the 1970s, 1980s, and it was built to a good safety standard, and it has been operated safely. It is a gas-cooled reactor. It's cooled by carbon dioxide. Now carbon before you get what's in, carbon dioxide means it cannot catch fire. Things don't burn in a CO2 environment. That power station is perfectly safe. It's old, it's an old design, but it's a safe design. We've got new power stations coming up being built in Finland. There's no problem with them there. But if you're gonna have more electric charging points, we need to have a more capable electric generating grid, more base loading, which means more big power stations. In this country we can use offshore wind, but it poses a hazard to shipping, and in the storm you have to shut the turbines down to protect them. If you're relying on wind, you're going to have a problem. Solar? Yeah, okay. Solar towers don't really work in this country. We don't get enough sunlight to create a focused beam to beam it onto molten salt like they do in Nevada and in Spain. Solar panels in every house? Yep, good idea. Providing that even better if your roof runs basically is north facing or south facing. If it's east or west facing, probably not so good. But you'll still generate power. Might be good for you, but it probably won't be good for a supergrid. Massive fields covered in solar panels? Yeah, great idea. Do it. But if we need to have more electric vehicle charging points, we're going to need to generate significantly more electricity. Massive amounts of it. So we have a surplus. But that's for me to muse about and think about, and for you guys to think about. If you like what I've just said, give us a like. If you don't, give us a dislike. But tell me why. I'd like to hear your views. But if you do like what my channel, which is mainly Euro Truck Simulator content and American Truck Simulator content, I won't be streaming tomorrow on Saturday, which is my normal streaming day, because I will be at fully charged. However, if you like it, pray to the gods of like, share and subscribe. Peace out.